there have been some rumblings as to a potential new entry to the Marvel Vs. Capcom series. So if we did, let's just say that was happening and they had 10 slots, 5 on both sides that they needed to fill, who would we at Dynamic Entry want them to choose? Let me take you for a ride. There you get it. Let me take you for a ride. All right, so let's just get this out of the way to get things started. I'm going to be doing the Capcom side. Nate will be taking care of Marvel. Split things like a team, as we do here on Dynamic Entry. So to start things off on the Capcom side of things, I decided to go the Resident Evil route. Now I thought to myself, I think a villain would be a cool entry, you know? Maybe Krauser, you know? Maybe that one cool Magnetics guy that Neil Newman voices. But no, I decided to pick the internet's favorite bald man himself, Mr. X. You gotta hear me out. He's silent, he's deadly, he's dressed in all black like Morpheus. It's great. It's got everything that you want. He could serve as a really dangerous grappler or a very interesting like spacing control character who has these big lunges or these big kick moves, kind of similar to like Q in Street Fighter 3, if you will, or maybe even the Sentinel in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but it's scaled down a little bit. Not much though, because Mr. X is massive, and I think his imposing frame, as well as just the fact that he's not directly somebody who's like shooting a gun or summoning zombies or doing any healing in the middle of combat, would differentiate him from other Resident Evil characters who have shown up thus far, a la Chris and Jill. Not that I don't want to see Leon enter the game. I think that'd be great, and even having an ultimate with Ashley would be kind of cool. But I just think that Mr. X would be the right direction to go with that, and some villain representation too. Not all heroes, you know what I'm saying?
All right, I'm gonna match Chris's freak here. We'll go villain for villain, band for band. I think that it would be sick to get a Doc Ock in the game. That would be so great because he would have 4 arms and he's just zoning you the whole time with his arms and you can't get past him. If he can like ravel up when he needs to shield, I think it would look sick, especially if they did like the the classic costume. I think that would look really good. Like the green would pop. And I know it's kind of hard to not only pick Spider-Man characters because there's so many to choose from. Besides Batman, Spider-Man has the best rogues gallery, so it's hard to like stay away from them. And I think it'd be perfect just to have him in here because that'd be like a new and interesting thing. I guess he would kind of play like Omega Red a little bit, like from the older games, with like just like waving his tentacles around. But Doc Ock would be sick. And then if you like knock him out, maybe his glasses fall off or something. That'd be pretty funny. And he's pretty fat too, so just seeing his gut just be out there in the open, I think that'd be a good look. And yeah, I think that's just like the best possible villain to choose from amongst like the remaining Marvel roster. And, like we said, we're not doing the obvious choices, so I think that he would fit in perfectly. Doc Ock is a great man.
Now, any Capcom fan worth their weight in knowledge is going to tell you that they want to see a particular brand see some type of return in the fighting game scene that belongs to Capcom specifically, and that would be Power Stone. Now, who from Power Stone are we picking? If you're asking me, I'd go with Ryoma. He's your classic cool samurai who, with his power charge mode, would have a nice level 3 that would give him back his sleek armor and the increased damage and moves, kind of similar to like the rush mode with Zero, or even Firebrand's like Gargoyle mode that gives him a bit more poise and makes him a bit tougher. I think something like that would be really nice and be a natural fit inside of the existing mechanics of the game. Further, it would give you an opportunity to make a Power Stone level and show the rest of the characters. And hey, who knows? The increased exposure may be exactly what you need to get the game back into the limelight. That's what they tried with Darkstalkers when they re-released the arcade mode back on the Xbox 360 and PS3. And look at us now, we're in development for a new one. Who knew?
Speaking of recent exposure, like Chris mentioned, I think the perfect time to capitalize on that recent success of Deadpool versus Wolverine would be pull a character from there. I'm not going to pull the obvious choice, Deadpool, because he's been in a Marvel before, and I'm sure he'll be in this next one. Wolverine, same thing there. I think we should get Cassandra Nova. I don't know if I said Kane, I get confused. Cassandra Nova, the recent villain from the Deadpool versus Wolverine movie, Charles Xavier's sister. I think it'd be sick to have somebody like that with like telekinesis powers who kind of just like stands like, I forgot who was it that would stand with their hands behind their back while they're fighting you. It's from the game. I can't think off the top of my dome, but something like that where she's just kind of like chilling and she's just like nonchalant, just beats your ass. Like a Dormammu character type deal. I think that'd be very cool, and I wanted to put Xavier on here because I think that'd be really funny to have him just like in the game, but then you get kind of like, well, if you hit him, his wheelchair flies, that's kind of messed up. We can't do all that, but Cassandra Cain is perfect, and she's vicious from what we've seen in the movie at least. She does not hold anything back. She should be perfect. And Ultimate, they wouldn't do it, but like not Marvel, like a Mortal Kombat style, like ripping your skin off, that'd be kind of crazy. They won't do it, but it would be really cool to see. And I think Cassandra Nova would be really cool to see in this game.
Keeping on the same beat there, and also going a little bit back to what I was talking about with older games and form changes, I'm going to choose another existing franchise in Devil May Cry. But no, I'm not talking about our one-armed blue devil using man. I'm not talking about his abusive father or his uncle or anyone in between. No, I'm talking about the chick who showed up in one game. What if we put Lucia from Devil May Cry 2, don't laugh at me, in Marvel Vs Capcom 5? I just think it'd work out really well. She is an interesting character as far as her design itself goes. She has throwing daggers and her cool twin curved blades. With her agile setup, you could kind of have like a Bayonetta-esque character who's still different because she's not using guns, she's using bladed weaponry. And again, her level 3 could be some type of Devil Trigger mode where she goes into her like alter seraphim thing, which is different as well too because it's more bird or angelic looking than it is a Devil Trigger. So she would stand out from Dante or anybody else that they happen to throw in. And there could also be some cool interaction there between her and Dante if you have them on the same team or against each other. Maybe some other characters or some other ghoulish or devilish characters because she is a reformed demon turned devil hunter. So that could be cool.
All right, next up for me would be somebody who just would throw hands the whole time. We've had an Iron Fist in the previous games. I guess the Street Fighter characters kind of fill out that slot as well. But somebody from the Marvel side, there's not too many like martial arts users, so it's kind of hard to pick. But he did have recent success with Marvel's Phase 4. I think Shang-Chi would be the perfect addition because he would just throw hands, and also he does have the option to use the rings of power, you know, just throw them around like projectiles and bring them back to you. Maybe he can figure out a way to like teleport behind you or something like that. But yeah, I think it'd be sick to just have him in this game. It'd be a nice little the only thing I wouldn't want though would be like his costume from the movie. I think it looks kind of sauceless. So Marvel is pretty good about like, you know, finding good costumes, and maybe they can find something from the comics that looks a little better than what he saw or what he was wearing in the movie. But just having somebody who just throws hands and is a good martial artist is always a good look. Him and Ryu going toe to toe would be sick to see. So yeah, Shang-Chi I think would be a perfect addition to this game.
Alright, so for this next one, I wanted to go the route of silent protagonists, and I'm gonna choose one that people are gonna be like, hey man, everyone loves this one. We all agree with you. We totally want Monster Hunter or the protagonist or the hunter from Monster Hunter to appear. That's not who I chose, but I did use Monster Hunter. Capcom, between the two of them, Marvel and Capcom respectively in this case, are usually the ones to bring the funny or joke characters, and I wanted to honor that spirit. So from Monster Hunter, I actually decided to not do the hunter, but instead go with the Palicos, or a Palico, or a Tail Raider, as they're known in some of the games. You could play as this small little cat person who's armored in monster-made gear and weaponry. You could use bombs, a little tank. The character itself, again, would be a little more jokey. It'd probably function a little closer to someone like Frank West or somewhere in that ballpark. And I think that's great. Like I said, Capcom is always the one to bring those type of characters into the forefront with the fighting game itself. And I think it gives us a little bit of levity as well. A lot of the characters in the recent picks are a little edgy or a little bigger. So let's go the opposite direction. Pick someone small and friend-shaped. I think that'd be fun.
All right, sticking within the realm of live action exposure to the mainstream audience, Moon Knight would be a sick character to have in this game. People know him now. Before you kind of didn't know. Now you know, and you can have various versions of him. He could be wearing the suit, you know, like the white tux or whatever. He could be wearing the classic Moon Knight suit. He could be wearing the one from the show, whichever you want. And it'd be cool to have maybe like different forms. So like you become a different personality of Moon Knight and you fight a different style or a different way or whatever. That'd be cool. And also another character who just throws hands, but also he would play like a Batman type character, something along those lines. But I don't know, something like him in this game would be cool. And you know, he needs more love, I feel like, and this would be the perfect push again to put him more into the mainstream, and maybe they'll get like a season 2 for Moon Knight. I know it's kind of like in limbo right now, but Oscar Isaac deserves work, all right? So this would help him. Maybe he could probably voice it too, actually. That'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind it. But yeah, Moon Knight, cool guy. Cool guys?
Okay, so I said silent protagonist, right? And if I didn't use that for the Hunter, then who the hell did I use that for? Well, what if we use that final slot on my side for the Arisen from Dragon's Dogma? Yeah, the silent protag from there. Look, going with the look, we're just going to say they use the classic Capcom cover one that they typically use, which is like the brown shaggy hair, whatever. Big deal. The important thing here is what the Arisen brings to the table. Let's say we go for the latest iteration, which comes from Dragon's Dogma 2. And in this particular instance, I'm going to say that we use the Warfarer class. Why? Because the Warfarer class would give us everything that we're looking for in a Marvel vs. Capcom character. Being the one class in the game, not exclusively, but the one class that truly highlights air combat in Dragon's Dogma, it's a perfect fit for Marvel vs. Capcom. Pop up a character into the air, swap in for the Arisen, and start doing a bunch of cool lance combos in the air, slam someone down, then teleport down to them, and then start rushing them through into the wall, and then swap back out. It's perfect. And the way the Dragon's Dogma is set up, just mechanically as a game, your characters are made and have skills that allow you to partner with or assist your fellow party members. This would be great too inside of Marvel, because it would give you an opportunity to have unique assist mechanics for the Arisen. Maybe he gives you a damage boost when you slot in somebody else while sacrificing the ability to swap in for his assist, or maybe he just comes out and does some crazy jump move that clears half the map. Kind of cheap, but whatever. I'll take it. I just think that it would be a great opportunity to highlight a once more kind of cult classic-y type game that is now a lot more popular than ever. And hey, why not celebrate that?
All right, finishing off my list, why not pick a character who can be all characters with the success of X-Men 97, the new animated series? Let's bring in my boy Morph, all right? He can be everybody. He's so cool looking. He has that like white mask looking thing, and then the classic X-Men suits already look cool as is. And yeah, he would just be like the Shang Tsung of this game. He could just be anybody and just copy their movesets. So like he'd be kind of cheap if you know how to use him well, because he can do everybody. But maybe you just limit it to like, does Shang Tsung do that where he can only play like who you're playing against?
Yeah, you gotta hit him with it.
Okay, so then yeah, it would be like that. You just hit the person you're playing against. You can't transform to everybody in the roster, but just the person you're looking at, and then you start doing their moves. And then maybe if you get like a certain amount of damage, you just switch back to Morph. That'd be the only problem. Morph, base form Morph would be kind of trash because he doesn't really do much of anything. He just kind of just stands there. But if he catches you, it's a wrap. And that's a wrap on our lists here. Those are our 5 dream characters from Marvel and Capcom for a potential Marvel vs. Capcom 5 game that doesn't exist. Fun fact, I was like, hey, let's make a list for Marvel vs. Capcom 4 back behind the scenes. And Chris is like, 4 came out already. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that Infinite was a thing. What happened there? They dropped the ball. Anyway, hopefully our lists bring the ball back to the court, okay? Maybe you can have our characters be like the DLC or something, because like we mentioned earlier, we wanted to kind of do a list that didn't have the original cast from both games or like the obvious choices. We wanted to kind of give you guys like the deep cuts. That's what this is. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let us know down below in the comment section. Hey, I liked it. And you can also give us your dream roster for Marvel vs. Capcom 5. That'd be cool. And subscribing and following, that's also very cool. So thank you guys for watching as always. And until next time, go learn a new combo.